Entitled, baby.
I've been trapping all day, couldn't get away from my dope scale. I'm a coast stunner, road runner, you got no bells. More money, I need more sales. Make it hell, make it hell.
Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors, episode 14. Biggest episode to date. This is one I've definitely been excited for. We're sitting here with a real Tulsa legend, MMA veteran, Tulsa Sports Hall of Fame, Division I athlete, world medalist multiple times, high school wrestling coach. He has his own MMA gym here in Tulsa, stand-up comedian. I could go on and on. The list goes on forever. Definitely a man of many trades. My man, Gerald Harris. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. And I used to be a coach a long time ago. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, we got a podcast, we're pretty cool.
See, it kind of rubbed off on you a little bit.
Nah, for sure. But you're definitely somebody that I've looked up to and respected for a long time. I've been following your career since I was probably 6-7 years old, and
that's when I started fighting.
No, literally, like from the point that you started fighting. I definitely been somebody that's been supporting you from the jump, man. So just to take it all the way back to the beginning, because this is definitely, I did more research for this episode than any other episode. Yeah. So this is something I didn't even know until I was doing research and literally talking to other 45-year-old men. So I didn't know that you went to school at Central before you went to East Central.
Yeah, crazy story, man. I was at Central High School, state qualifier. No, I didn't qualify for state my freshman year. Roller actually won it that year. It was kind of crazy. But I did good. I lost to the number one guy in the region, first round, wrestled all the way back, and he got upset by East Central guy.
Okay.
And, I wasn't a great year, but my sophomore year I qualified for state, which was pretty cool. And Central has a historic program. I mean, I think right now they still hold records.
I think they just started their program back this year too.
But it's going to take a long time to get where they used to be. But they had a lot of records, man. Central had a great history. Anyway, I was proud to be a part of the program, and they dropped it. And I mean, the day after state. Like, we come back from the state tournament, we had 4 qualifiers, almost placed, and they dropped it, man. And I was like, whoa. So, matter of fact, you know what? I'll be honest, they dropped it before regionals.
So they told y'all before the year was over, hey,
regionals,
this is it.
Yeah. Now, this is what happened. They told me before regionals, and, you can't recruit as a coach. Coaches didn't say nothing to me. But I had boys like Aaron Walston and all them at East Central, and I'm just sitting there like, bro, they canceled the program. He was like, come to East Central. I was like, okay. It would have been Webster. I ain't gonna lie, because I had Melvin Lofton and Mark.
Webster was crazy at that time.
Oh yeah, I would have went, but East Central was the first school to talk to me, and I transferred that year. Right after state, I transferred.
I didn't even know that was the year that the program had got canceled. I just because I heard that from Big Vinny, and he was telling me you transferred over there his senior year.
Yeah, it changed the game. Well, I got 1 year in with Vinny. He was a junior when I came over, but the season was over, and I don't think I got a takedown in that room for about a month. And I mean, even the guys that weren't that good or weren't even the strongest in the line, I couldn't even get them because they were so that high level.
East Central was deep at that time.
Oh, and then you had Gary Roberts and T-Don Fleshman whooping your ass every day.
So, 2 Division I wrestlers.
All Americans, yes.
And that's something I was going to ask you about. So, how was that going from a school like Central where, at the time, y'all weren't as competitive, going to a school like East Central where at the time they were top dogs around here, and you had two young dudes that were both Division I wrestlers that were in there wrestling with y'all every day?
That's why I learned that your environment is everything. I went from, now Coach Tommy Rogers is probably one of the most amazing, nice guys I've known in my life. Bill Grant was a decent coach, but they didn't run the practice like these. I mean, there was days where we was in there by ourselves. I'm wrestling the homies from lunch, and I mean, it wasn't structured at all. I mean, the leadership wasn't there. And when I got to East Central, it was like you had to be on time. You had to warm up. You had to practice or cool down. I wasn't used to that.
They were running the program.
These are 2 guys that were Division I All-Americans. So they ran it like a college practice. And I wasn't used to that. I was a hard worker, though. I was a dude that every day I go run the stadiums afterwards. I go, I did every tournament. I drove the tournaments on my own, but I didn't have that environment. I'm in a room smashing everybody. So I go to East Central, and like I said, I couldn't get a takedown. I never forget it, man. And if you took Vinny down, you're gonna get in a fight. So that was part of it. It was that was the ego in the room. If you got took down, it was offensive. I mean, that's how it is, though. I mean, you go to a college.
That's the environment you have to have.
You the new guy in the room. They don't care about your 4 titles and national championships and Fargo. They're like, nah, bro, we finna tear you up. So it elevated me, and I went from 3rd and then 2nd. But the crazy thing is, I got 2nd to Shane Roller my senior year.
That's something else I was going to ask you about.
But I was number 6 in the country. I took 6th at senior nationals and 6th at Fargo. So, you know.
And it's crazy that
all because of East Central.
Y'all's careers kind of took a similar trajectory in the long run, you know, especially from like y'all both fighting in the UFC, to y'all both being as influential as y'all are now in like the local wrestling scene and stuff like that is crazy.
I would call Shane a friend. I've been knowing him forever. You know, we had our battles back in the day. I beat him once, he beat me twice.
You beat him in freestyle, right?
I beat him in freestyle.
Okay. Hey, like I said, I did my research, bro. I did my research.
But I'm still hanging on to that win forever. Like, I pinned Shane Roller. But he got me back like a week later. But the thing is, we made each other better. You know, he was just that guy. He went to college, a 3-time All-American. I was a 3-time qualifier. And then we both ended up in the UFC. We both had good careers. And we both ended up running clubs and camps, and our kids trained together.
It's crazy.
You know, it's just, to this, I call his dad. You know, he's a good dude, man.
To kind of go back to East Central a little bit too, something else I didn't know is you were actually the school mascot at East Central. How did that come about, bro? How are you the school mascot?
I was quiet. I was kind of chill, but I was a class clown for life. Like at Central, I was the roast master. Every day at lunch, when we sat down, bro, I'm talking about a round table. Everybody could get it. It didn't matter. If my mama sat at the table, she was going to get it. I never lost a battle. Like, I sit at the table and they bring somebody, and I just pop. Next. I just light them up. The teeth, the eyes, whatever. Dirty clothes.
Well, that's really how it be.
Yeah, man, I came from Gilcrease. So I came from the hood.
Dirty clothes.
Oh, yeah. Nobody was safe, bro. Nobody was safe, man. I never forget this one dude. I'm getting off topic, but he got in a fight and his earring got ripped out, so it looked like his butt cracked. Like,
man.
So we called him Booty Ear Brian, and that was one of my favorite roasts. But anyway, the class clown is what led me to being a mascot. I don't know how somebody because I didn't want to play football. I don't like football. I didn't like football. First of all, I was blind as a bat. But somebody, I don't know how I ended up being a mascot, but it was a joke at first. I'll do it, and I loved it. Like, I was doing backflips. I was chasing people. Like,
I heard you got in trouble for fighting another mascot
I'm
one time.
I'm gonna get there in a minute. So my first game, right? They like, you want to be mascot? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't want to play football. My first game is all city. So I'm suited up in the costume. We playing McLean. So I walk all the way to McLean's side. I don't know. I was like, this is what you do as a mascot. And we squared up, bro. We both from the hood. So he told me after the fight, he said, I thought you was like a nerd or something.
That's what I was going to say. Imagine you're fighting a mascot.
Big bird,
you know,
big bird costume.
Yeah, he thinking it's a dorky bird. I'm like, nah, it's a hood dude under here. It's Turley up under this costume. So I run up on dude, we square up, and he put me in the headlock. You know, I suplexed him, right? So he puts me in the headlock. I pick him up in the air, bro, like this, swear to God. And just John Cena him in the dirt. Boom! So he takes my head off and throws it in the crowd, and they're like, passing it around. And then I saw him and we knew each other and we like high-fived each other and laughed. But let me tell you the funny catch of that. It was a real fight. We were fighting, bro. We was fighting. We was swinging and everything. But back in them days, mascots used to fight, right?
Bro, that shit
I didn't get in trouble.
I wish I could just be a fly on the wall.
Let me tell you,
you didn't get in trouble?
I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get suspended. You know, Mr. O'Malley brought me in. But look, here's the crazy thing. So I was also the school representative for like student representative. I go to this meeting at the what you call that place, Education Service Center, and I'm talking about this is the big dogs, like the superintendent of all schools and all these people. And I'm sitting at the end of the table all bougie, right? And I'm like, yes, sir. I think we should improve our lunches, and I'm being all bougie. And the dude at the end, the superintendent goes, hey, hold up. Weren't you fighting at the game last week?
Oh, man.
Hey, it broke the ice for the whole meeting, man. I told that story, and they just laughed. But it was all like, you know, uptight. And then he was like, you that mascot that was fighting?
You're the crazy bird.
Yeah, and everybody started laughing, and we was, so people talk about that today, and that was in 1996, bro.
Yeah.
1996 I did that. And it wasn't no cell phones back then. So,
bro, that'd be. I mean, I wish I could see
that story will last forever, man.
So you go from East Central to Cleveland State. Mm-hmm. So how did that come about? Because I mean, that's obviously far away. Is that just who recruited you?
I need to write a movie because everything has a story. I got recruited by OU and I was excited. I'm like, OU, oh my God, yeah. OSU wasn't really interested. They had Shane Roller and they had Robbie Waller who beat me at Fargo. So Robbie Waller and Shane Roller wrestled each other in the finals at Senior Nationals, and I got 6th. Robbie Waller went to OU, Roller went to OSU. So I wasn't getting recruited. I'm like, we don't need Harris. So they went ahead and recruited me, even though they had Robbie Waller, same weight. I go down, they give me $250 in gas money. This is in 1998. Like, gas was like $1 a gallon.
They just paid for your whole next week to be living good.
They gave me a year's worth of gas. I'm telling you that to tell you this. I sit down with Jack Spates. I'm like, I want you to come to OU. I'm like, cool. He offered me $200 book scholarship.
Man.
Gave me $250 in gas and $200 in books to go to OU. And my dumb butt was like, okay. And I signed the contract, and I'm an OU wrestler. I go to nobody's recruiting me because I got 2nd in state. I go to Senior Nationals, 6th place. Everybody's hitting me. I'm getting letters.
Immediately.
I'm getting letters. And I'm ignoring them because I'm an OU. I took a couple trips, Lindenwood, a couple places. And then Fargo comes. And at Fargo, when I'm in the semis versus Robbie Waller, Cleveland State brings me up to the thing. And of all people, Alan Freed, OSU, 3-time NCAA champ, he talked me into doing it. Damn near full. Everything but books. They paid for tuition, room, board, everything. And the only thing I had to pay for was books. So it was the opposite of what OU gave me. Jack Spades gave me a release, and Cleveland State changed my life, man, forever. Joined a fraternity. I learned so much. I don't know what would have happened to OU, but Cleveland State, to this day, I still got connections in Ohio. All those East Coast guys, I know them because I went to Cleveland State.
No, I mean, I think it worked out exactly how it was supposed to for you. You know, you leave there, career leader in wins, 3-time NCAA qualifier. I mean,
118 wins.
It worked out exactly how it was supposed to, it seemed like.
I will say this. My career would have been so much better. I don't take anything back because I've had some crazy stuff in my career, like the David Brand Slam. I'm sure we'll get talking about that. So I think back and go, if I would have did this wouldn't have happened. I probably would have never been to UFC. I probably would have been just a wrestling coach. So I don't take anything back in my career because it led me to where I am today. But I will say this. My college career was damaged by weight cutting. My freshman year, I walked on campus 163 pounds, 6-pack ripped up and whooping people in the room. I mean, I was dominating because I was coming off Fargo, man. A couple of weeks out of Fargo, I was on shape.
Got that confidence boost.
I put on 20 pounds that year, bro. 20 pounds. I went from 63 to 83. And I cut 20 pounds for 4 years. And finally, my senior year, I said, I'm not cutting no more. And I went 184. And I went 40-3. And it was just like, I should have done this a long time ago. I couldn't imagine my freshman year if I said, I'm going 84. 5 years of that, oh, man, I would have been so, my career would have been so much better. But I was, you know how it is, I was cutting 18, 17 pounds. I'm talking about Tuesday, Thursday, tournament on Saturday. It ruined my career, man. It did. I was probably like 28-2, but I got the Midlands. Right at Thanksgiving is when that dorm food, right at Thanksgiving is whenever I put that 20 on, man.
I mean, anybody that's done it knows it too. It's one thing like when you're fighting to cut down to make weight for one night.
One night.
And
the night before.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can rehydrate and replenish, and the next day you're good to go, and then you don't have to fight again for another 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're wrestling, you got competitions every single week, so you have to make weight every single week.
My whole
over
career
time, that wears you out.
It was about making weight. It wasn't about wrestling. But my senior year, my red shirt year and my senior year, I got to focus on technique. And that's what made a difference. So, I'm not saying don't cut weight. I still cut weight. I'm an old man. I cut for Worlds.
And like the day of and the day before, you're going to be cutting a little bit of weight, even when you're wrestling 84, just because you're healthy, you're hydrated, you got a little bit extra.
It depends on what double digits you're hitting. 8, 10 pounds ain't bad. We can do that tonight. But when you cutting 15, 20, man, that's too much. It's too much. On a consistent basis, it's too much.
So just to kind of, parlay that into the fighting. So how exactly did you get started fighting? Is it something that you started doing while you were at Cleveland State, or was it like you wanted to still compete afterwards?
Oh, I didn't want to fight at all. Another story. But When I met you guys, I went from Cleveland State. My goal was to be a high school coach and a teacher forever. I had no intentions on wrestling again. I went to actually went to U.S. Nationals and placed 6th place. And I mean, I was like, I'm not going to Olympics. My boy King Mo was the man, Muhammad Lawal, Andy Rovat. I wasn't training full time like those guys. I just went for fun, and I still got top 6. So it showed my potential. Which is
crazy if you know.
My potential and my talent. But I moved to Florida for 2 years, and the hurricanes pushed me out. That's when Katrina hit.
And you were coaching down in Florida, right?
I was coaching down in Florida, yeah. But Katrina hit down. I was like, I'm done. I mean, I went through 3 hurricanes, no power for 2 weeks. He was being born. So the year he was born, I moved 06. That's when I met you guys.
Yup.
But Chris, my son, is the same age as you. So I come back from Florida. In Florida, I'm making about $40,000 a year, man, straight out of college. That's big money. 1 kid, 2, I'm making good money. I come to Tulsa, and they don't accept my certification. I go from $40,000 a year to $7 an hour. So when I'm in Central, I'm a para making $7 an hour, like $300 every week or so. It was bad. My checks were like $700 every 2 weeks, and living at T-Don's house by Walmart area. So I'm telling y'all to tell you this is, I was making $7 an hour. I'm struggling, bro. We've been back on welfare, food stamps, Section 8, all that, and my car broke down, and I'm walking to work and to the gym, and Jason Nicholson saw me walking.
Okay, I know Jason.
He said, "Man, you walk to the gym?" I said, "Yeah." Well, I was about to walk home after I worked out. I said, "I'm going to run home." He's like, "What for?" I was like, "My car broke down." I was like, "I wasn't training for nothing. I was just working out at Mikey's." And he's like, "You need some money to buy a car?" I said, "Yeah." This guy got a Mustang for $600, and the fight paid $600. He didn't tell me it paid 3 and 3, meaning $300 to fight and $300.
You got to go win to get this $600.
Yeah. So long story short, I took that fight just to make enough money for that car. I won the fight, and I was like, I'm done. So here's a crazy story: is my first fight was $600, my second fight was $1,000, third fight was $1,500, fourth fight was $2,000, fifth fight was $2,000. My 6th fight was $10,000. I was like, "Hey, Central, I quit. I quit." So $10,000, bro, and it was 10 and 10. If I won, I would have got $20,000. So I said I need to do this full time, and never liked fighting. I never liked fighting, like physically getting in there and hitting people. I didn't like it, but I was good at it. I hit hard. I was hard to take down. I was hard to hit, and I got an Ultimate Fighter and all that and UFC, but that's how it started because I didn't have any money. I had no aspirations of fighting.
That's actually crazy that you say that, because we sat down with Tracy Reeder, and he quite literally almost kind of had the same thing. He was like,
very similar story.
Tracy looked like a fighter though.
Because he was like,
oh yeah,
he was like, shit, I needed $1,000 to pay my rent. And they said $500 to fight and $500 if I win. He goes,
so I knew
I was going to win.
Don't lose.
Yeah, he had just recently lost his job, and that was the way to pay rent.
I think one of my
he was fighting amateur before that.
I didn't do no amateur at all. I went straight into. I think one of my biggest regrets. I made some good money, and Jason Nicholson helped me get started. He walked me through my career. I wish I could have blessed him a little bit more. He went to jail for child support of all things. So when he went to jail for child support, I got signed to the UFC. So he didn't get to enjoy those moments with me. So, but that's bull crap to be locked up for some damn child support. So, that's one
crazy.
of my few things I wish I could have blessed him while I was making that good money. So, but yeah, it was crazy. I never wanted to fight. The last time I had a street fight was in the 6th grade. I ain't threw a punch since the 6th grade, man.
So just to kind of elaborate on the stint that you had in the UFC a little bit. So you fought in the Ultimate Fighter.
Yep.
I remember tuning in every single week, every Wednesday when I was a little kid to watch the Ultimate Fighter. I was literally crying in my living room.
I had a fight to get in the house. Remember that?
Yeah. I was literally crying in my living room when you lost to Amir Sadal, who actually ended up winning that season.
Winning the show.
And so I know after that, you go on to win like a 7-fight win streak.
Yeah.
After you get off the Ultimate Fighter.
Yep.
And then I didn't know this at all until I started doing research for this, but you called into a radio show that Dana White was on?
I got to find that video. It's going to be so hard to find. I know exactly when it happened. It was Christmas break in 2009, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio. But before I get to that, let me tell you why that phone call happened. I was Ultimate Fighter, didn't know how to fight. Just straight wrestling, no training really. I was at Team Quest for like a month. Never sparred until I got there.
And that's Randy Couture, right? Team
No,
Quest?
he left.
Okay.
It was Matt Lennon and some guys. And
Oh,
Ed
okay.
Herman. Ed Herman got me on Ultimate Fighter.
So like like the same gym as Chael Sonnen?
Chael Sonnen.
Okay.
So I'm training with these guys, and I say, hey, Ed Herman, I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter. And he goes, oh, you did? I said, yeah. I said, but I ain't called back. He calls a lady on the phone, speakerphone. Hey, man, he just got off the show. My boy Gerald Harris trying out for the show. You can hear her digging through boxes of tapes. She finds my tape. It's like, all right, we got him. I was on the show. It's who you know, man.
All about who you know.
Yeah, I'd have never been on Ultimate Fighter. But I shouldn't have been on there because I wasn't ready, but it was good. So after I lose on Ultimate Fighter, Joe Silva tells me, you'll never be in the UFC. Literally his words. He goes, if you can't make it on this show, bro, you'll never make it in UFC. I was like, Mr. Silva, I promise you I'm going to make it.
And that was the UFC matchmaker at the time, right?
He said, you will never make it in the UFC. And I said, I promise you I will.
Man.
And I kept calling him after every 3 or 4 wins. And I had 9 wins in a row. I had 10 wins in a row, 9 by finish. I called him back. I'm like, I knocked out Nissan Ostek. That belt right there, the gold when you see up there, I got that on my brother's birthday the year he died. So that belt meant a lot to me. I knocked out Nissan Ostek in 18 seconds that night. And I was like, I'm in the UFC because he fought Jake Rocha. You remember that crazy fight? He's like in the WC or whatever, or UFC. Anyway, I knock out a UFC veteran. I'm like, I'm in. And Joe Silva says, no again. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm crushed. Bro, 10 wins, 9 by knockout?
Like, what else can I do?
What else can I do? That was in September. It's December. I'm still waiting. And Dana White is on the MMA Junkie. And they're like, call in and ask Dana White a question. And I'm calling. You know how it is. You know, back in the day, be busy.
You'd be like the 10th caller or whatever.
And that bitch rang. Oh, it rang. And I was like, they're like, hello. I'm like, hey. They're like, who are you? I'm like, Gerald Harris. And they're like, all right, you ready to talk to Dana White? I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm excited, right? So I'm panicking, and the comedian came out. And I'm like, what if I don't want to just talk to this dude, you know, and sound like a fan. So, and I'm watching Dana White, bro, on the screen, on the computer. And he's like, hey, who is this? And I'm like, I go, hello there, mate. And I speak in a British voice. He said, hey, all the way from Britain? I said, yes, sir. I have a question for you, Mr. Dana White. And he goes, oh, man, okay, whatever you want. I said, what about that Gerald Harris there? That mate was really, he's a good fellow. And Dana White goes, man, I like Gerald Harris. I heard about him. I said, well, this is him, motherfucker. And Dana White goes, oh, and the whole studio dies. Like, they're falling out laughing. I said, man, I didn't know what to say, bro. I didn't want to sound like a fan. I said, I got 10 wins in a row, 9 by knockout. I'm trying to get in the UFC. And I'm spitting. I'm giving it. Like,
Cutting the full promo.
I mean, he turns red laughing because I tricked him with the British voice. I kind of lost my voice now so he can hear it good. But anyway, and 2 days later, he texts me, bro. He's like, you're in. And I was like, my heart sank. I went for a run. I'm getting ready. And another 2 days go by, and I get a contract in the email. Guy from New York or whatever pulled out of a fight, 11-day notice. And if you see on the wall over there, every fight I had in the UFC is matched up with a shorts and a picture. Mm-hmm. I fought John Salter on 11-day notice.
Okay.
I went to that fight with negative $700 in the bank, and I got a bonus that night. It's pretty cool. So
you got knocked out of the night, didn't you?
Every single fight card I was on. The second fight I had, I got knocked out of the night, but Roy Nelson knocked out Struve.
Okay, I remember that one. The big 7 foot tall dude. Yeah.
They gave me a bonus, but not the bonus. First fight got the knockout of the night. Second fight got knockout bonus. David Branch, obviously.
The third one, yo, slam heard around the world.
And then it was in the last fight I lost, so I didn't get a bonus. But yeah, it was an amazing career. And then as soon as I lost, Joe Silva cut me.
And didn't you get injured in that last fight too? Or I thought you like broke your hand or something.
No, he knocked me out in the first round. I didn't know it. I'd never been knocked out before. And I watched the video, and he came in with an uppercut, boom. And I woke up, and I mean, I was in a fight, but I was in a fog. I was out of the fight all the way to the third round. Anybody that's ever been knocked out, only boxers or fighters will know this, you're on autopilot. And I just...
Oh, yeah, for sure. I finished a wrestling match before after being knocked out. It ain't no joke.
You don't remember. So I thought I won the fight. So I get to the third round. I'm working him. Third round, I'm working. Sticking, pop, 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 trying to take him down worse. And the fight's over, and I'm raising my hands. And coach said, hey, bro, you lost. I said, what? He said, he beat your ass for 2 rounds. I said, what? I thought I won. He's like, nah, man. And then I went backstage, and I was like, I still had a concussion. And that guy failed a drug test. Bad. He tried to use horse pee. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm a 100% natural athlete. I don't even like taking aspirin or medicine. And that guy, it was stands and all in his system. He had all kind of stuff in him.
And it was really prevalent at that time too.
Yeah, he got caught with non-human pee first. Then they made him pee, and then they got his real test results, and they cut him. But Joe Silva cut me. He goes, "Hey man," he's like, "I told you I wasn't gonna make it in the UFC." I'm like, "Bro, I'm 3-0."
Yeah.
He's like, "Nah, you ain't cut for this," and he fired me, man. 2 days later.
That's crazy.
I had a nervous breakdown, everything, man. I was crying. I was freaking out. I was at the post office sending out fan mail, and I'm talking about Japan, Brazil, over all these countries. I'm lined up like, hey, this is going to the UK, this is going to Brazil, this is going to Japan, and I'm signing all these autographs. And as soon as I walk out of the post office, it's Joe Silva. I'm like, oh, it's another fight. He said, man, I'm sorry, man, I got to let you go. And I just broke down. And I drove over my coach's house. He lived right down the street. I was out north. And I was crying, man, and he came and got me, brought me in the house, and that was it. I will say this, man, that put me in a real depressive state for a long time. I never trained the same after that cut. And I shouldn't have, but it really, I never worked so hard for something that had it taken away so easy.
And it didn't really make sense either.
It didn't make sense. I was crushed. I lost my first fight after the UFC. My career was never the same. I'll say the only time I trained like I did was for my last fight. I didn't want to lose my last fight. And I beat a UFC veteran. I beat Seth Baczynski. But that cut messed
He was on
me.
the Ultimate Fighter too, wasn't he?
Ultimate Fighter. He was like 10-10 in the UFC.
I remember him.
That cut really mentally. I went from the biggest house on the block at 71st and Garnett to apartment complex. You know, crammed in there with my kids and family. So it was a lot that went on. And then I did the typical NFL player route. I helped everybody out. I was paying the people bills. I spent all that money.
Yeah, I remember you had crazy.
11 months.
You had crazy endorsements at the time. Like I remember one time you came over to my house in East Tulsa. Like whenever you were coaching East Central High School, like you were coaching Dylan, and you brought him like 2 trash bags full of like brand new shirts with the tags on them from like all your sponsorship. Like some were like Affliction, and then like Echo. Yeah, you had all the sponsorships. I was like, hey, man, there you go. He's a rocket. I love your brother, man. He's a good dude. He was well beyond his years, though. He was like a 25-year-old, 15-year-old. Literally,
man. We talk about that all the time.
Dude looked like he smoked cigarettes in kindergarten, man. Like I said, I wouldn't take anything back, but that really messed me up when I got cut from the UFC. I just didn't understand it. I could never get get it back. And what's crazy is, and I may be jumping too far ahead, is I got another chance to get in the UFC. Listen how crazy this is. I get back on the Ultimate Fighter in 2000. Okay, the Slam, the picture you see behind us, everybody knows about the viral Slam. I retire.
You got 4 of them, right? 4 Slam KOs, world record.
World record. First one was Bubba McDaniels. Second one was David Branch. Third one was him. No, third one was the arm break. And then the fourth one was that one. That was my last Slam. Well, no, I got it backwards. The last one was the arm break. I broke that guy's arm. Anyway,
yep, you're right.
Yeah. So, damn, I forgot where I was at. What was I talking about? I was getting good. So check this out. So we talk about Ultimate Fighter. 2008, I'm on Ultimate Fighter. 2007, I get signed. I don't have a good tournament. I lose to the eventual winner. 2017, they call me back for the Ultimate Fighter Season 25 to come back after that Slam. That Slam happened in December 2016. They're like, we got Season 25. It's welterweight, which was fine. It was a hell of a cut for me, but I made it. They're like, we want you back on. It's all the guys from the show that didn't had a second chance. JT Taylor, remember he won my season that year, but he got in trouble and he didn't get to fight in the finale. He busted the windows out of the car.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Because and he was like telling people that he was in the UFC, and then it
was too late. And he was kicking. He was drunk, acting crazy. Anyway, so he gets a second chance. Everybody knows me and JT gonna be in the finals because we was head above the competition. I mean, there's some good guys in there, but no. Anyway, so it's the day before the show. I want to get one. Your coach can't go with you. The coaches were like T.J. Miller. T.J. Dillashaw.
And Cody Garbrandt.
The day before I'm like stance in motion, moving my coach, shadow boxing. I heard pop, torn Achilles. Hey, this is the day before I fly out for the show. The show starts on Saturday.
I never even knew this.
I toured on Friday, and I bawled. Oh, I cried, man. I cried so hard. $250,000 is what JT won.
Man.
And I went back to work on Monday, foot up, and I told the kids, don't say nothing to me. I was teaching at Broken Arrow at the time. And my job actually gave me 6 weeks off for the show. So I was back on Ultimate Fighter, back in the UFC, tore my Achilles. Career wasn't ever the same. You know, that's when I got that viral slam when I broke that guy's arm. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't even have fought that fight. I was actually losing that fight before I broke his arm. I was flat. Dude, I fought 6 months after Achilles surgery. That's like wrestling 6 months after an ACL tear or worse. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. You look at anybody in any other sport, and it's taking a year and a half to 2 years to come back from an Achilles.
At least a year minimum. I've toured in February and I fought in August. And my doctor was like, "You crazy?" I was like, "I need the money." So, but yeah, man, that sucked. That was it. Had a couple fights. You know, Bellator career wasn't great. And then I fought Brzezinski and I retired. So,
speaking of your run in Bellator, though, because like as I was doing research for this episode, I noticed like this might be the craziest statistical anomaly I've ever seen. But I was looking in like the three people that you fought in Bellator.
Yeah.
Had like a combined record. I want to say it was
insane.
Let me see here.
Only 2 losses.
I want to get this right just to verify, because this
like 50 something or 60 something in 2.
This was one of the craziest things I'd ever seen. So Lovato retired as an 11-0 champ.
Yep.
The Tokov just recently lost. He fought for the title. He's 31-3.
Yep.
And then the Amosov is 27-0, and he's the current champion. Like.
I dropped Tokov. You see that? Mm-hmm. And woke him up.
I don't think anybody in the history of professional mixed martial arts has ever had a 3-fight run like that.
That was tough.
Even as a champion, like fighting contenders, I don't know if someone's ever had a run like that.
It was rough. I mean, okay, so here's the crazy thing is I didn't like 170. That was a hard cut for me. I was going back up to 85. I was walking around about 213. And so I took the Lovato fight because I had to cut from 213 to 190 in 2 days. So it was Tuesday when they called me out of weigh-in Thursday. That sucked. So I barely made 190. First time I've been submitted. I mean, it was Lovato. It wasn't a big deal.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion.
I got paid good. I tried to knock him out. And it was fun. It was, and Fedor was on the card. You can't get no better than that. So I'm like, hey, give me a 4-fight deal and pay me this much. They're like, cool. So I get all 4 fights, and I mean, they put me through it. They took me from a middleweight fight to a welterweight, and 6 weeks, and my kidney started failing in that fight. And before the fight, I just drained too much water out of my body. My wife had to pull me out the hot tub. I made the homemade hot tub in the bathroom, and my back started twitching. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, baby, what's going on?
You're depleted.
Like, she said, you're depleted, your kidneys are failing. And she pulled me out of the hot tub. I wrapped myself up in a blanket, and I made weight 171.0. And I almost whooped my ass for 15 minutes, bro. I ain't never got beat up that bad in my life, bro. It felt like a tech fall with no points. Like
they weren't keeping score, but you knew you were down.
It was like Kale versus novice state champ. No, but I'm going to be super honest. That is the most talented fighter I've ever faced in my life. I mean, his footwork was crazy, his striking was crazy, and he took me. I had only been taken down once my whole career, and that was by Josh Berkman. And that dude took me down whenever he wanted to. I was so worried about his hands. Next thing I look, he's double-legging me. I mean, he was obviously 27-0. And then the Tokov fight was fun. I dropped him. I worked that punch the whole camp.
Like you said, you almost woke him back up whenever you hopped on him.
I woke him up. I worked that punch. It was a fake single leg to an overhand left. And I'm right-handed. But I had Matt Hughes and Gray Maynard knocked themselves out. They slammed guys on their heads.
I remember the Gray Maynard one because he tried to get up and act like he was still good.
So I'm like, I did it in college. I slammed Victor Saveda and my head hit the ground. I was out. So I was literally on the dummy, picking dummies up. And then I put my arm up like this, and I'm practicing this. boom. I was like, oh yeah, I like that.
So that's dope.
If you watch my first fight ever, there's a highlight video on YouTube. It's hard to find because they blocked it because of music, but you can find it. My very first fight, I picked this guy up in the air, double leg. I always go bottom leg, and that arm comes up to around the neck, and I just go wham. And I mean, he's hurt. I didn't knock him out, but I hurt him. And from that day forth, I kept, every time I picked somebody up, I put that arm up. And I broke Bubba McDaniels in my first fight. I picked him up like this. I put my arm up, and I went down. I broke his ribs.
Damn.
So that was my first slam. Second slam was David Branch. I picked him up. He wrapped his legs around me. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he like set himself up for that when he thought he was about to pull guard.
Yeah, so I put that arm up around his neck, around that collarbone, and it kept him from, boom, he was asleep, bro.
And people that really know, David Branch was a bad dude. I'm pretty sure. What was he?
He was undefeated at the time. He was a jiu-jitsu black belt.
He was like Strike Force champion before, or was it WEC?
He was fresh. We were all fresh at the time.
Okay.
He did everything after that. He had a great career after that, and a good UFC career. He fought Anthony Johnson for 3 rounds at a weight class up. I mean, the dude was a monster. So I caught him early. He caught me early. And he'd never get that fight back. I know he wanted a rematch. I'm like, nah. But yeah, the slam is that was my thing. So I like slamming people. Freestyle, Greco.
And so you're still slamming people to this day. I know you were just in Greece. I know you were just in Greece a week ago. You took second at the World Tournament for the veterans. So what kind of led you to do that? Because I know last year you also competed at the World Tournament and took bronze. So what gave you the urge to compete again? You
guys are looking over there. I haven't. So when I started fighting, I got back into wrestling just one time with the Midlands. Midlands is Iowa, Penn State, Minnesota.
It's a college tournament, but it's open to everyone.
I mean, I'm talking about Illinois, Big 12, pretty much Big 12s. So I'm like 30, I think I was 30 years old. I'm with the Midlands. I'm like, I'm gonna wrestle again. Oh my, horrible mistake. Good mistake, but they seated me second. I'm like, why? So I'm seated second. I win the first match. Second match, and we're in Evanston, Illinois. I'm wrestling a guy from Illinois. And this is the first year they added the new overtime rules where it never stops. Remember, it was like 30-30 on your feet, 30-30 until somebody won.
It has to end on it.
I'm like 6 overtimes in, like, yo, this is, I'm 30 years old. And he beats me in overtime. I wrestle all the way back to the place rounds and I forfeit out. And they're like, dude, that's amazing for me to be that old. And I beat all these college guys. I'm beating. Every school you can name, I'm beating Iowa guys.
And these are top dogs.
Yeah, top dogs. I'm beating ranked guys. I'm beating All-Americans. And I'm 30-something years old. So it was fun. So that was the last time I stepped on the mat. And 2 years ago, well, I say last year, the girls, as a joke, it's like, if we win state, you got to wrestle again. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know where, but I will. And they're like, all right, so we win state. I'm like, damn. And this girl comes up with a piece of paper and goes, you got to go to U.S. Nationals.
So you couldn't have found me like an old-timers tournament or something?
Oh, they found me the hardest old-timer tournament. So in Vegas, while the seniors are wrestling, I'm talking about Jordan Oliver and all those guys, Jordan Burroughs and them, at U.S. Nationals, they have a master's division. And my division is 43 and up. I was 43 at the time, and I won both styles, freestyle and Greco. And that was it. And then I got invited to Worlds. I got beat out of freestyle. I got 5th in freestyle, and I got a bronze in Greco last year. And I learned a lot. I learned how to wrestle internationally. And then this year I went back and I got in the finals, the freestyle, and I didn't have a good Greco tournament. But I'm doing it. It's gonna sound crazy. I love wrestling, I do. And I didn't love wrestling when I was younger. I actually didn't like it that much. I just like training with my partners and the friends I made. But at this age now, being a coach, I love it. I appreciate it a lot more and how far it's got me in life. And I'm gonna do it till I'm 60 because they stop at 60. So
it's one of those things too that's like sometimes you don't realize how much you love it till you lose it. And I know with wrestling specifically, a lot of people go through that where for that first 6 months you might feel good because you're not cutting weight, you're not having to worry about competing no more, stuff like that.
A little bit.
But give it a couple years and you're gonna want to get your hands on somebody.
And it's crazy. We talked about the money I made fighting and all the endorsements, and I pay to wrestle now. I got sponsors all over the place. I got a banner actually over there, Mr. Quick Pick, my boy Hydro Chart. These guys funded me to go to, I can't afford to go to Greece. I'm a school teacher right now and a small gym owner. I don't have an extra $6,000 to go overseas and compete. And these people pay for it. Like, it's real. I still got that support system I had when I was in the UFC. But you really got to be passionate about something to pay for it. You know, I'm negotiating the fight, and I'm like, oh, how much it costs to go wrestle? So I love wrestling, and it's been my tool for coaching. It's been my tool for just all these, like you, look at this. Mm-hmm. This is because of wrestling. If it wasn't for wrestling, my life would be so different. I don't know where my life would be without it. So,
I'm not gonna lie, even you wrestling last year at Worlds inspired me tremendously, bro. I was sitting there at work every single match, watching it on Facebook Live, bro. Fully invested.
Nikki was doing it.
Yes.
I want gold though, and I'm not gonna stop. I know it sounds crazy. People listening and be like, "He gonna wrestle till he's 60?" There's 58-year-old dudes in there in matches, and it's 10 seconds left, and they're going for a takedown. I love that. Like, come on, man.
Like, people that really understand for sure.
If you ever took a shot and said 3, 2, 1, that's what it feels like to win a match.
Yeah, it's funny that you're saying that about medals, because I don't know if you know or not, me and Nate actually brought us home a medal this year.
God, what'd you get?
You know, we threw a beer Olympics.
Let me see it.
We threw a beer Olympics.
Man, we got
third.
Man, we got third at our own event. We got bronze at our own Olympics.
How do you get bronze? You gotta rigged it, bro. How do you get? I see a big ass 3. I'm like, you get third, bro. I would have cheated. Hey, the rules.
That's what he said. He was trying to get me to cheat.
Hey, actually, third is first. So you guys give me your medal. Yeah, I would have changed the rules.
We bought first, second, and third medals for teams of 2 and had a big trophy.
I will say this. I probably drink once or twice a year, maybe twice at the most. When's the Beer Olympics?
We have another one coming up this winter.
We're actually doing one. Yes.
This winter. So
I'm gonna
probably
tell you
next
now,
month or
I am
2
a
months.
lightweight, bro. 2 shots, that's a wrap.
So this will be at like the end of November. So essentially, we're gonna do
My
two.
birthday is November 19th.
Hey, we're gonna do 2 of them a year now. we're gonna do one in the summer and one in the winter. And just like the actual Olympics, there will be different there will be different games at the Summer Olympics than there will be at the Winter Olympics. But like he was saying, for the Winter Olympics, we want to do it completely different. To where like for the Winter Olympics, we're only inviting like other content creators, influeers, and like figures in Tulsa. So if you really did want to do it, it would be perfect.
Now, I hope
just gotta get you a teammate.
You coach too, so hope it's not on a Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And I hope I'm not out of town. I will say this on record. I'll do it if I'm not, as long as I'm in town.
Hey, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And I don't drink. That's gonna be the. I'm gonna lose. Cause
well, you also have to think it's not as much about the drinking. It's more about the games, you know.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, 2 beers, I'm done. You
can. If you go watch the video on our channel, you can see me and his first interview, because we did interviews with everybody before. And by that time we got the 3rd place, I don't even have my jersey on. I'm in a wife beater.
Oh well, let me say this. I know you got to get in a little bit, but I last year the biggest mistake I made was, and I'll show you in a second, is after Worlds, I won't say I didn't take care of myself. You know, as a coach, you don't have a lot of time for yourself.
Not at all.
The biggest mistake I made after Worlds last year is I basically took about 9 months off. And I did not work out. I didn't do nothing but coach. And I've never been above 215 pounds. And I was 235, bro. Look at that.
Damn.
Yeah, everybody says that when they see.
Oh shit!
So I went from 235 to 193. You know, 13 weeks of hard diet, nutrition, working out. You can't win a world title in 13 weeks. And the year before I did 8. So I'm on 52 weeks right now. I haven't stopped since Worlds. I flew back Sunday. I was in practice on Monday, and I was drilling with my girls, and I said, hey, I'm gonna get ready. I'm training from now all the way. I'm saying that to say this is next weekend. I'm wrestling in the Viking Open.
Okay, at Carl Albert?
Yeah, I'm going. So it's folk style. I don't know how I'm gonna do. It's gonna be fun. You know,
just as like a tune-up, just
to keep that.
You want to?
Yeah, I mean the last time I wrestled was Worlds, and then I wrestled. I'm going there. I'm going to Nationals in April.
Is that on Saturday?
It's on Saturday. Yep.
Man, so we might have to go.
So I'm gonna go to that, and I'm just gonna have fun, man. My son's gonna actually coach me, so he's gonna be in my corner. And you know, this sport is weird. Like I said, I didn't fall in love with it until afterwards. I didn't appreciate it. Till I started fighting, I was like, oh, wrestling paying off. But being 43, man, I just don't want my kids to grow up and look back and go, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda. So I throw everything at them now, even if they don't like it now. They look back and go, I'm glad Dad made me go to that term. I'm glad Dad made me go to college. Because I'm like, bro, the one thing in life you don't get back is time. And so I'm not making up for lost time. I still love the sport.
You're making the most of your time.
I'll be 44 in November, and it's like I can still go out there and compete. I don't know how I'm going to do. I know I ain't going to get pinned. I'll tell you that damn much. I told him I will bite you. You're not getting pinned, bro. I don't care if I'm 100. You're not pinning me. But I want to go out there. I want to compete. And even the kids I wrestle will be like, man, that dude 43 hour wrestling. Like, people don't understand how hard it is physically to get in shape at the age of 43.
It's unheard of. I haven't heard anyone doing that, what you're talking about. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and not just being – I got 8 kids. A lot of people don't know that. I got 8 children.
That's what I was – damn!
Yeah, I know. The oldest is 24 and the youngest is 5. So on top of my family, a job, running the gym, coaching the girls, running my club, now I'm training. I'm training at 4 o'clock in the morning, man. You know, I work out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I come here and run class, go to school, work out with my girls, and then I work out at night. I'm going to make time for myself. So I want to do this again in a year and with a gold medal on my neck because I know I put the time in. I wanted it this last time I did, but deep down I knew it takes more than 3 months to win a world title. So
hey, I believe it, man. I believe in you. And honestly, you know, you might not think it, but what you're doing inspires so many other people, even if they don't have nothing to do with wrestling, just in every other aspect of life, just to make the most of their time. Like you said, you're not trying to, you can't change nothing in the past. The only thing you have control of is what you're going to do tomorrow. So
I will say this. Funny you said that. You know Josh Pulsifer, coach from
Bartlesville. Yeah,
he's going with me next year.
And he was legit too. He was legit.
Dude, yeah. Hey, he's a long-time friend. I think he's 40. Josh is an amazing guy. He's just a nice person. But I talked to him. I said, man, come on, Josh, bro. I know you still got it in you. He's going.
And he runs a jiu-jitsu school out there in Bartlesville, right?
Yeah, so he's
still active.
He's going to go with me. We're going to Croatia next year.
Oh, damn.
So my wife's going. I want to take my son so bad. I do, but he's a private school, and it's hard to miss school. But if I could, I just, I've lost a lot in front of him. It's kind of embarrassing at times, but it shows I'm human. I took him to a fight. He was at the Amasov fight. I was like, I had my ass beat. I was like, damn. But, he never was like, he was like, all right, weight cut was bad. No excuses, but, I let my kids see everything, So they've seen me win fights. They've seen me lose some. He's seen me win. But, hey, I know how he feel when he lose. You know what I mean? So I've been there before. It also taught me to, when he lose, to chill a little bit. Because you know how it feels, man. Last thing you want to hear is what you did wrong after a loss. And shut the hell up. So it makes me a better coach.
Absolutely. And that's something, that I always is so big on with our guys is, I'm still 24 years old.
Yeah.
When it comes time to do conditioning and practice, I'm doing conditioning with them. And I'll be telling them the whole time, if I can do this and get through it fine, y'all damn sure better be able to get through this shit. Because I'm not competing. I don't have anything to prepare for. You do. I'm not wrestling next week. You are.
And deep down, you be like, oh, shit, I want to stop. I was doing conditioning with my girls today. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh, my God. But, you want to do it with them. And it's funny, my college coach, Jack Effner, when we ran stairs, he ran stairs. When we jogged, he jogged. When we wrestled, he wrestled. And he was an old school. He was about 34 at the time. But Coach Roberts, T-Don Fleshman, they was in there. They didn't do the conditioning, but they kicked our ass. But it's so cool to have your coach.
Yeah, me, Vinny, Andrew, we were doing all of it. And just, the biggest thing, and I'm sure this is the exact same case with you and your kids, is your kids are going to respect you so much more if they know that you wouldn't ask them to do anything that you wouldn't do yourself. And you're out here, putting your foot forward and doing it yourself and showing them.
I will tell you this. For the first 2 years at Union, I was so overwhelmed with the new school and business and changes. I didn't work out not one time. I've been at every practice this year. Every single practice, shoes on. My clothes are on a loop like the girls on the loop. It goes in the laundry with theirs. And I've been 10 toes down with them. They run the stairs, I run the stairs. So the vibe has changed in the room. It's different just sitting there yelling at them. Which at some point coaches get to that point where they just chill. They don't got to get in there, but I ain't going to stop, man. I told you I'm going to be 60.
Oh, yeah. I believe in it. I think they'll go that extra mile if they see that you're willing to go that extra mile with them.
I've seen the vibe in the room this year change that I'm in there. And when practice is over, I'm pouring. I'm talking to them, girls. We can do this, And they're just like,
because you're putting in that sweat equity with them.
Yeah, man, and it does. It makes a big difference. So, but it's from my environment. I wanted, T. Don and Gary taught me that.
Absolutely.
You know, first time and it was funny because I never wrestled a coach before. I'm like, I'm going to whoop this old dude ass. I've never taken T. Don down in my life, ever. I don't think I took Gary down either. But T. Don was like an urban legend.
Got that cowboy strength.
I heard he went 2 years in college, and he'll tell you, he won't tell you if you don't ask. He went 2 years in college without getting up and take down in practice. Like, that's unheard of. I mean, you gonna get took down in practice. And they said 2 years.
This is Division I, too.
D1, bro. They was at New Mexico State and then went to OSU. But I just learned a lot. Everything we've been talking about from the very beginning to up to now is I try to instill in my kids, man. So, and the people keep wondering why, and I'm not bragging, you know I'm not cocky at all, why I keep winning all these titles. And I won 2 titles at Collinsville, 1 at Broken Arrow, and then 2 at Union. Is because of all the stuff we just talked about over this whole podcast. Is the Gary Roberts and the coaches and I've been with and the partners I had and the UFC training, the camps I've been to, all that goes. And I'm not just coaching these girls like, bro, they getting they getting the UFC, they getting East Central, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They getting everything.
That's one thing I love about wrestling is it's such a personal sport too.
Very.
Like every single person that's ever coached me in my life has put something into me, you know?
And that's what people don't understand. You take a piece of everything. When I went all the way to the UK and trained with Michael Bisping. And I was only there for like maybe 6 days. And every time I woke up, Michael Bisping was running. I said, damn. As soon as I got back home, pew, you know what I mean? I'm like, and this is after the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, this dude, and the night before, he's out with everybody partying, having a good time. But it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I look out, Mike Bisping coming back from a run. They're like, oh, Mike just went for a run, 5 miles. I'm like, that's why he's one of the top guys in UFC.
Yeah. You
know, so you take a little bit, you take pieces everywhere you go. I've been a bunch of Rampage Jackson camps. I've been everywhere, man. I was out there with CB Dalloway. Remember that Arizona State crew? CB Dalloway, Ryan Bader, Cain Velasquez. That Arizona State crew was pretty about as tough as OSU for a while.
Literally.
But I lived
They're
in Arizona.
still tough.
I lived in Arizona after Ultimate Fighter. CB Dalloway invited me to his camp. And I can go on and on about how much I learned. I come north Tulsa.
Was it Jackson Wink in Arizona? No, it wasn't Jackson Wink.
They're in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I come back to Tulsa after the Ultimate Fighter, and this is something I didn't say earlier. Is I got my hands from Alan Green and Pepe Johnson. If you don't know about Alan Green, that's another urban legend. Other than the issues he had with his colon, he had lost 80% of his colon. Boxer from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He broke Mike Tyson's record at the Golden Gloves for the fastest knockout. I started training with him. Never boxed in my life. I learned how to box the hard way. So that's where I got my hands from in the UFC when I was just popping everybody up. Is I went to an old school, rocky-looking boxing gym out north called Ghost Dog Boxing, and that changed my life, man. To this day, me and Pepe like brothers. You know, Alan Green went to middle school together, but. Man, you talking about taking the workouts I did there, my girls doing them. You know what I'm saying? Like they getting it all, man. So I don't post stuff online though, man. People so quick to post their workouts online. You ain't gonna see my workouts online. You gonna do a copy off me,
in the lab.
Yeah, man. I'm not giving away the secrets, man.
Hey, that's how you got to be though, especially when you're really trying to grind and get to the top of whatever it is you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna show you my pathway. So. You're going to see the final product, though.
Well, shit, bro. Like we said, you know, you gain bits and pieces from everybody that you come in contact with in your life. I've definitely gained a lot of bits and pieces from you over the years.
Indirectly, I had no idea. I love you. I love your family. But I never knew like you watched me fight. I didn't know that
bro,
stuff.
I'm telling you, a lot more people than just me. You've been an inspiration to a lot of people here in Tulsa. A lot of people I grew up with. I can tell you off the top of my head. So
that's crazy.
I really appreciate you sitting down with us and giving us some of your time today. I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
I'll be back here in the morning, 5 o'clock.
Hey.
That's my life. I will say this. I know we said before I go like 5 times. And this is gonna sound crazy, but I don't mind sharing it. I just learned how to be a better father and a better coach I'm gonna cuss too much, from a fucking Instagram video. I swear to God. You never know what's gonna impact your life. So I'm so into coaching. I'm coach, kids. I've been like that my whole life. I put so much into these kids. I get the results that there was a guy, I don't know his name, and I even wrote him saying, hey man, your video changed my life. And he said he was guilty. And he said I've been coach of the year multiple times. I won coach of the year last year. I won coach of the year in Florida. I won coach of the year in whatever. And he said he's never been father or husband of the year. Now, if you think about it, you guys' relationships, whatever, parents, whatever, is if you're putting more into your coaching than you are into your relationship and your kids, it's going to show. You know, and I was neglecting my family. I was neglecting my kids. As coaching, you spend a lot of time with your kids, but I wasn't making time for my family, man, and making time for my wife, and from an Instagram fucking video, you know, and this maybe over the summer I think it happened, a switch hit, and I started taking my wife out to eat once a week, no matter how broke I was, you know what I'm saying, and my kids, I try to, you know, spend as much time as it's hard spending time with 8 kids. But we now have a family trip every year, no matter what. We're taking our kids somewhere, not wrestling related, because you know we always go wrestling. It just, you know, it sounds crazy that all the stuff we just said, it all bottled up to me going, let me put that same energy I put in the UFC into my wife. Let me take that same energy I did to get on Ultimate Fighter into my kids. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's crazy. My life is now, and I'm 40. I'll be 44 in a couple weeks, and I'm just now. I'll never stop learning. You never stop learning as a coach or as a person.
Absolutely, and I think that's the only way to keep growing as a person.
Yeah, that changed my life. I mean, literally, like me and my wife have a great relationship. We ain't perfect, but I noticed that it changed when I started the date night once a week. Man, you know what? I'm not going to this tournament this weekend. I'm gonna sit out. I'm staying home. And my kids upstairs on their phone, they don't give a shit. But I'm home, you know? So, and the kids only gonna be kids for so long. And I was missing out on that, man, you know? So it's crazy. Everything we just said, I bottled all that up, and I said the same energy I put into everything we just talked about, all these titles, all those medals and all those awards I'm putting in my relationship and in my kids. So, you know, I appreciate y'all having me, man. This was a great conversation. I like these because it's not like I'm getting interviewed. It feels like a conversation.
Absolutely. Hey, man, this is stuff that I've wanted to ask you a lot of this since I was 10 years old. So
I had no idea.
This is dope for me.
I saw you. You were always happy. You dapped me up. You know, I always joke about Novice State. I watched you when you were a beginner all the way to high school. You always had that fire in you, bro. I mean, it's in your blood. But I do. It's fun to see you guys grow up. And that all we want as parents is, and our kids, we get on their nerves. We want the best for our kids. I don't want my son to make the same. I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, you made a lot of mistakes. We all did. But don't make the same mistakes I did. You know what I'm saying? I want him at 23 to be where I'm at further at 43. I want him to have his own business. I want him to be a doctor, something. Just happy. You know, I got Chris, he don't like college. He don't like school. He like being a waiter. If you happy being a waiter, be the best waiter ever. I mean, you'll hear this speech in a lot of different ways. Because Chris wasn't the type of dude to go to school and be a doctor, be a school, be a teacher. It ain't in him. That was me. So I let him do whatever the hell he want to do. And as long as my son is happy, I'm happy. So, you know, all my kids. But until they're 18, I'm going to push them as hard as I can to what I think is right.
Because you want what's best for them.
Yeah, then after that, I'll let them, hey, man, you know, live and you learn and choose. But I'm glad you guys look where you are doing your thing. You never know how far this is going to get.
Nah, so. We're definitely going to come back a year from now after you come home with that goal and sit down with you again. And,
let's speak it into existence,
you know,
man.
Just get to see how much more and further you've progressed as a person.
I'm definitely not going to be 42 pounds overweight next time. That's too much weight. And I'm not, like I said, 52 weeks. I got nationals in April. You know, I'll keep in touch with you. You know, social media helps. And then I really want that gold. And the goal to me isn't about the actual medal. I don't even know what my silver medal is right now. It's at the house somewhere. It's what the work that goes behind it, the stories, you know. Any trophy you see, you go, I remember that tournament. I choked.
You wrestled so-and-so. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, it's a reminder. So, you know, people say trophy chasing. It's a reminder. I look at that bronze medal and I go, I broke that dude in the Greco match. Everybody, when I went back a year ago, go, you that one guy that, I broke this guy, I broke him bad from Poland or something. Or Sweden, and people talk about that to this day. He was like, that's one of the greatest matches I watched at this tournament. So it's the memories, man, you know, and he'll be here when you're gone, so.
Absolutely. Well, bro, like I said, I appreciate you sitting down with us today. It's been the Weekend Warriors, episode 14. Gerald Harris.
That's y'all 43.
We're signing off.
I've been trapping all day, couldn't get away from my dope scale. I'm a coast stunner, road runner, you got no bells. More money, I need more sales. Make it hell, make it rain shells. I'm a trap, make this money till my